Hi everyone, this is Joyce, and I have been getting a lot of requests asking what is the history of design and wanting to know more about my master's program at Oxford. So I thought I'd share with you today. So if you don't know what a MST is, it is a Master's of Studies, and it's a part-time master's program that usually is for people that are working full-time. So I'm doing a 2-year part-time master's in the history of design at Oxford. And I started my program in October 2019. And I am currently working on my dissertation. We've already finished all of our essays for the course so far. And I'll briefly mention sort of the topics of what I've done throughout the year and a little preview of what I'll be writing my dissertation on. So these are a couple photos from our matriculation day. It was really interesting because we actually started our master's classes in early October, and then matriculation was later on in October. And this is a really formal event. It kind of felt like Harry Potter. So we wore these like outfits for matriculation, and it was a really, really interesting and exciting event. So I'm part of Kellogg College, and we walked from Kellogg to the building where our convocation or our matriculation was. And matriculation is just a formal way of, recognizing, incoming students to Oxford. So yeah, it was quite an experience. We were in this big hall. You can see in the top right corner, there's a picture I took. And so luckily, I was among some of the students that got to sit in um, the seats, but then students that were coming in actually had to stand because there wasn't enough room. So this was back in October 2019. And then um, we typically meet once a month for our course. However, due to COVID, the classes have been moved to online. So I haven't been back at Oxford since the beginning of 2020, but I do hope to return next year when we have our graduation ceremony. So this is the first essay that I did my topic on. This is a scene from Ratatouille, one of my favorite Pixar movies. And I watched this recently, like this photo I took maybe a few weeks ago, and I was watching Ratatouille and I saw the Tonnet chair. So you can see Remy arguing with his dad. And so if you haven't seen the film takes place in France, and the Tonnet chair was mass produced um, in Germany, and it was distributed throughout Europe and the world. And it was just so neat to like see my topic that I have been doing research on in one of my favorite movies. Like I had never noticed that before, and then watching this movie again helped me realize like, wow, design history is so prevalent, and it's definitely a field that I believe will continue to grow. So if you don't know what the history of design is, I didn't either before I was part of before I applied to this program at Oxford. But the history of design is a field of study that um, is obviously about history, but it focuses on design. So, like, what is design? Design, I like to think of design as something that is practical, that is aesthetic. Um, there's art and then there's design. They're two separate disciplines, but um, design can be in the category of art, and then there are terms and different topics that are interchangeable between the two disciplines. However, design is um, a lot more, I want to say it's more useful. I think when I think of art, art could be things that are, you just look at it, and yes, it can be meaningful, but they may not necessarily have like a tangible utility to it. So is design in our course entails a lot more than just graphic design or architecture. I usually get that question like, oh, design history, is that like architecture? And like, yes, it does include architecture, but it also includes so much more. I think about product design, I think about interior design, um, what else? User design. Design is just all around us, like, and we don't appreciate it as much as we should. Um, but it's really neat to see societies like the Design History Society or the Oxford Design Society promoting the appreciation of design, and teaching other people about design. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. This is the second research topic that I did on the Valentine portable typewriter, Olivetti, which is Italian. Really, really fascinating typewriter. And I probably should have included it in this slideshow, but I first saw this typewriter in the Design Museum in London, and it was just so eye-catching to me, and I just loved researching on this typewriter. My next essay was on um, actually, this was the next essay that I did my research on. It's on Go for Broke, which is a film from 1951 promoting and telling the story of the valiant Japanese American soldiers that served in World War II. And it was really, really cool to watch this film. You can watch it on YouTube, actually. They have the whole film, Go for Broke, and it tells the history of the Japanese American soldiers that served in World War II. It focuses on the European front. So I did a analysis of the symbolic objects and audio visuals in the film, and I would love to watch this film again when I have the time, but highly encourage you to watch the film if you haven't already. Also did my research on um, Annie Malone, who was portrayed, the character portrayed in the Netflix show was based on her. Um, and the character's name was Addie in the Netflix show. And honestly, the Netflix show did not do Annie Malone justice. Like everyone, a lot more people know about Madam C.J. Walker, who was also an incredible African American entrepreneur, woman, and philanthropist. But Annie Malone was actually the mentor and former employer of Madam C.J. Walker. And I discovered this souvenir booklet from her business called Poro College. And oh, wow, you have to check it out. It's fully online. Just Google the National African American Museum in DC, and you will find this incredible artifact, and you'll get to learn more about Annie Malone and just the amazing things that she did. I could just go on and on and on about her and the influence that she's had on so many people. So if you haven't seen the Netflix show, I mean, it was 4 episodes long, and it was definitely like dramatized. And there were a lot of things that were not historically accurate, but if you want to check it out, the show is on Netflix, and it is based on a true story, but there's a lot of things that were not accurate. Maybe I could save that review for another time, but yeah. And so last but not least, my dissertation will be on Anna May Wong, who was the first Asian American international movie star. I'm so excited to be writing my dissertation on her. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions about what is design history, please leave them in the comment section below. And yeah, stay tuned for the next educational YouTube video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.